How you doing, guys? Today I'm hoping to get the old Rugg off the jack stands. We got lots of stuff to do, but we're getting real close to the finish line. We got to bolt the engine, we got to bolt the transmission down, we got to get the drive chain in place, the steering wheel. We also have the actual pulley. This is the whole engine pulley assembly that has to be talked about. I got a new belt for the drive, as well as we got to hook up the throttle. And if that wasn't enough, I'm also working on the mower deck. Now, I started to DA sand this mower deck down. We're going to just give it a quick coat of green paint just so it kind of matches the tractor, because whoever owned it before me kind of brush painted this lime green look to it, which is just really bad. There's also a couple cracks in the chute, so we'll go ahead, we'll break out the welder and we'll hit that up. I don't know if I'm going to be repainting all of this, but essentially I want to repaint the top and the sides. As you can see, it's DA sanded down real nice. There's a couple dents, just pounded them out, but overall this deck is in really good shape. I'm not going to get involved with this. I might sand it and just paint it black or something. I don't know yet. But this section I'll paint the green color that I've been using in order to kind of get it to match. So we're going to be working on the mower deck. We're going to be working on the pulleys. We're going to be working on everything that we can do basically to get this thing in a position to get it out for a test ride. So after the sanding, I edge primed it, took the green that I had found that kind of matches the original green and shot the deck with that. I did start to wet sand it in a few spots, like right here and right there, which this is where it bolts on. So this is particularly under the tractor. So I did a test sand in that area. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm just looking to get the paint somewhat flat. So like you can even hear it. So you could tell where it's sanded, it's fairly smooth. Where it's not sanded, there's a lot of prickliness. So I'm going to knock it down with some 600 grit, and then I'm going to shoot it with some clear just to give it a little bit of a nice shine. I am going to wet sand and buff the clear, but again, my feet, or the rider's feet, sit right here and right there. So it's going to get scuffed up and dinged up just through natural riding it. So not going to get too crazy with it. I just need it to look the part on the tractor. So let me get to that. And then we'll be able to start putting the pulleys on and the belts, get all that stuff back on it, get the chain on it, and then we can put the deck on and we'll be pretty much right there. The sanding is complete. I didn't do in here, I just left this. It's all covered up by the tractor anyways. Not 100% mint, but definitely has a smooth feel. And once I clear it, it's gonna look absolutely the part. You really only see from these 3 holes over, and from these 3 holes over, you see a little bit right here. And then we see just a little bit right back here. Everything else is covered up by the tractor. But to just give a feel of what it's going to look like, if I just take some wax and grease remover and just Go like this real quick. I mean, I don't know about you, but that's like definitely straight enough. And the color is nice and deep. So I think that's good enough. It's a mower deck. It's going underneath the tractor, as well as your feet are going to start scraping it up anyways when you ride the tractor, because this is where your feet go. They basically sit right here, and this is why there's a dip right here. You can see the dip. Let's see. I mean, you can see that little dip. That's where your foot goes. And I'm not going to sit there and try to pound that out and fix it, because it's just going to happen again. But good shine once we clear it. It looks straight enough. So let me go ahead, get this thing cleared up and sanded and buffed. One of the things I like to do on my tractor is to do something unique or different, just so it's like my signature on the tractor. Because you never know, after I own this tractor and I sell it to somebody eventually, who knows what's going to happen to it. It could end up in a field. It could end up behind the machine shop where it was originally found. Could end up in a shed or a barn or a garage, just sitting there for however many years. And, it'd be kind of cool that somebody would see it and maybe recognize it, because I left my little signature on it. This is on the back of the deck, so it's not a very visible seen signature. So if somebody doesn't like it, you're not really going to see it anyways. And where it is specifically on the tractor is right here. It'll actually show like right in this position. So when you're standing in this position, you'll see it anywhere where you can kind of see the back of the transmission, but like from here, you're not going to be able to see it. If you're over here, you're not going to be able to see it. From the front of the tractor, you're not going to be able to see it. And from the back of the tractor, you're definitely not. Well, you might be able to see it through that hole, which would be kind of cool, but in general, you're not going to see it. So I'm just letting this dry. As soon as it dries, I will wipe it down with white wax and grease remover, blow it off with some air, and we'll just clear it. And I'll just clear right over the top of that, and everything will be locked in. While the mower deck dries, I am going to go ahead and put the transmission pulley on. This is the bottom of the transmission pulley. It actually goes up like in this position. There's a Woodruff key. There is a set screw, and there's actually a 5/8 snap ring that goes on at the very end. I guess so if this thing migrates down the shaft, it doesn't completely fall off. So the shaft itself is, that's a screw. It ain't gonna work. There it is. So you can see where the Woodruff key goes in. So I'm gonna just go ahead, put the Woodruff key in, slide the pulley on, tighten down the set screw, and put in the 5/8 snap ring, and you can see the groove right there at the very end of the shaft. And then we're gonna move on to the engine pulley. I got the transmission pulley installed. I'll show you that in just a few seconds. But this is the engine pulley, a two-piece deal. Most of the Rugg tractors, the Rugg style tractors that I've acquired over the years, are missing this piece. This is actually kind of critical, in my opinion, if you want to get your Rugg up and running originally. It is installed in this position. This pulley here, this V-belt, goes to the transmission. This is actually a V-belt pulley right here. It's two pieces. So you take this piece out. This gets lubricated with bearing grease. This slides onto that. The main bolt holding in the engine goes up through the center. These holes right here are for the blade to be installed. And what happens is when you engage the blade, there's a V-belt that runs along this pulley here, and then there's an idler, and the idler slides out, and as it slides out, it tightens the belt and causes the friction between the upper side of the pulley and the lower side of the pulley, and then they spin in unison, and that's what turns the tractor through the transmission as well as the blade. When it's not engaged and it's just idled, the top portion of this pulley spins. and the bottom just freewheels, if you want to call it. And the blade doesn't turn. So it's kind of a neat piece, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of a weirdo piece. But in general, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grease this up pretty good, so that way it has a nice, it's lubricated, because I'm not going to engage I'm not even going to put a blade on this because it's going to be a show rider for me for right now, but I am setting it up where I could just put a belt on it and the blade and get a blade. But initially what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hook up the top portion of this pulley to the transmission. So let me get this all installed and we'll take a look at what we got underneath there. Okay, so I got the tranny pulley on, snap rings in place, set screw is tightened with the Woodruff key. I have the brand new belt in place, and as you can see, it comes on the inside of the idler. This is the upper portion of the engine pulley. I just have it kind of dangling by the belt for right now. The blade engagement is in the engaged position, and that's so we can get the big end of the pulley, engine pulley, past the blade brake. So right now I have the lower section of the pulley right here. I have the bolt, the engine bolt. I'm going to put that in my extension. I'm going to hopefully be able to stand that up right over here, so that way I can line this pulley up in an easier fashion. It's a little bit difficult, but I'm going to push it all the way up so it's fully seated on the crank. I'm going to hopefully be able to snake this in there and get it started. It's a tight fit with the socket, but it does get in there. Come on. Hoping that, I think, yeah, it appears to be getting engaged. There we go. All right. All right, so that's hand tight. That spins nice and free. It's not loose. Obviously, I have to torque that into place. Our belt is loose, so in theory, this is the belt brake right here. This thing swings in when you have in the park position, if you want. So when you step on the pedal, the go pedal, this pulley swings in, creates the tension needed to get everything to drive. And this thing right here, that's the brake. So when you release the pedal, this thing slides forward and puts friction on the belt. So it's basically the parking brake. So I got that in place. This seems to be in place. I can release this. Boom. You can see how, I don't know, I hope you can't see it, but the brake just goes right in it. And that's what holds this lower section in place so it doesn't spin and the blade won't spin. But in this case, no big deal. All right, so everything seems to be in place. That seems to be pretty good. I wish I could reach over and press the pedal. I think I can right here. Let's see what happens. But probably not smart to be completely underneath this fucking thing, but oh well. Oh yeah, there it is. Oh, beautiful. All right, you probably only can see my big head, but it's working absolutely. It's working exactly the way it's supposed to. All right, awesome. So this is pretty much all done. I just got to torque this. I just have to torque that bolt into place. For full transparency, to torque the bolt, what I ended up doing is I ended up getting an old belt, putting it into the engaged portion for the blade. I shoved the belt in the pulley like this to create the friction and just gripped it really tight. Then I took my torque wrench, but I got my ratchet here just to show you, and it's tight as hell. I mean, it's not going anywhere, and it kept the engine from spinning when I tightened the bolt. So this is all set. I mean, this thing spins nice and free. The belt piece up here is real good. You go like this. The brake hits the bell, so this thing doesn't spin anymore. The parking brake works. This thing doesn't spin. It spins a little bit, but in general, it's all set. That's going to hold. All right, we're all set down here. Next thing is the drive chain, and then we put the motor deck on. Oh, wait a minute, no. Well, underneath we're all buttoned up. We can put the drive chain on, and then I can put the mower deck on it. We've got to go back up top, put the throttle up on it, and bolt the hood down. Overall, I'm real happy. I just got done spraying the clear. It laid pretty darn nice. You can see there is a little bit of hazing in the center. It's because it was a little bit. I didn't really spray this. I just did a quick coat of clear down the center of it. All that's underneath the tractor, so you don't even see it. So I really kind of cleared from this bolt hole back, from these bolt holes over on both sides, and then I really kind of concentrated on the front of the deck itself. So that way when we wet sand it and bolt it in, all of the high visible areas will be nice and shiny and flat. And as you can tell, the clear actually laid pretty darn good. And also, when I wet sand this a little bit, all that hazing is going to go away anyways. All right, let's go on to, while this is drying, I got a couple other little things I need to do to the tractor. All right, I got the throttle here. This is the original throttle. Now I know there's other lawn equipment that have these style throttles, but they're pretty cool in the sense that it has these notches. So as you move the arm, it kind of clicks into place. So this right now is set to idle, and then this click is high speed. I've gone ahead and set the carburetor to the idle position where it clicks in. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the end in, clip it on to the blower cover, so I've set the length that I need. And then I'm going to go ahead and take the single bolt that goes through and just screw it to where it was. And hopefully it'll be all indexed in and work as it should. So let me go ahead and get that together. Throttle's in place, everything's bolted down. It seems to work just fine. To get to this point, it does engage the choke, then we're up to fast, and then right to idle, and then to turn it off, just lift it up. Everything seems to be lined up real good, so I'm real happy about that. The hood is bolted into place. I did have to put about 3 washers under the hood here just to tweak it a little bit to get it to be straight, but just bought some fender washers, cut one side of the fender washers off so they fit real nice, but I think that gives us plenty of protection. The hood is rock solid. The hole for the steering wheel is dead center, or I should say the steering shaft is dead center in the hole. When we look back like this, the hood is nice and straight. So I'm real happy with the way this has come out so far. I am probably going to just take a look at the throttle one more time just to make sure it's truly lined up, but it was just before I put the hood on. So we should be all set. All right, steering wheel. Just before I do the steering wheel, I decided to just throw some black paint inside the deck. I did it Uncle Frank style. That's an inside joke to my father, who watches my videos from time to time. I did it on the Uncle Frank style. Brush paint, corn brush, just get it done. Doesn't matter. So that's exactly what I did. The little bar, the protection bar, I'm going to go ahead and do that, but I'm going to do it much better. I just wanted to throw black paint in it, and that is done. With the underside dry, I went ahead and started to wet sand the top side. This section here, like to about here-ish, that's all done with 1000 grit. And as you can see, it's not super straight like the side of my 65 Buick, but it's smooth and it's going to be shiny. So that looks real good. This section right here, that's done with a 3000 scuff pad. You can see there's a dent. I didn't fix it. I just made it smooth. And then right here is where I compounded and waxed it. And you can see that the color is real deep. It's real nice. And that's what once I get done with the whole deck will be like that. I did do the back section here where my decal is, or where I hand painted that. And everything came out real good. I did this with 1000 grit here, 1000 grit here. I did 1000 grit right around it, but then I did a 3000 scuff pad over the top of it just to kind of knock it down. And you can see the reflection of me is still quite good. And I think the decal itself, or the hand painted part of it, I think it looks good. So there it is. That is the deck. Next time you see it, it'll be all buffed and it'll be sanded and buffed and bolted back on the tractor. So right now I'm trying to figure out the belt size for the blade engagement. I wasn't going to put this in, but I said, you know what, the amount of work it takes to get to it, if I ever do want to put the belt in so I can run the blade, I have to, as you can see, I had to take the idler pulley out. I also had to take the blade brake off in order to get to a point where I could get a belt even on this. Now, this belt, the drive belt here, that's a 29 inch belt. I had a 29-inch belt. I was thinking maybe they were just simple, so you could just buy two 29s and everything would work, but that's not the case. So the 29 is too big. I bought a 28, too big. Bought a 27, it's too big. Then I just happen to have a blown out 24-inch belt right here, and that's way too small. So it's between a 26 and a 25, or a 25 and a 26. So I got to head over to Napa again and see if I can find a belt for this. With everything just about buttoned up underneath, we are ready to put the chain on, which is the last thing to do other than to put the deck back on the tractor. I have the chain right here. It's all cleaned and washed off. I then just hit it with some good old-fashioned motorcycle chain wax. I'm just letting that set up right now. I'm going to just put it over the two sprockets and then just slide the new master link that I picked up from the hardware store. It's a 41 chain on this. Just slip the old master link in there, put the clip in, and we are done underneath. Can't believe I got that on there pretty much unscathed. I'm going to go ahead and bolt it down tight. And there we are. Man, we are so close to being finished. I was hoping to have it done in this video, but there's just a couple things that I'm waiting for before I can take it off the jack stands and take it for a ride. One is I did order a new crankcase breather, and there's a little rubber elbow that gets it over to the carburetor. The thing was just leaking oil out of the actual little breather unit because I didn't replace it, but I looked online. It was super cheap. I said, the hell with it. I bought a new one. That one should be here in a few days. I do have to put re-stick the original decals back on it. That has to be done. And I have the original seat cover that goes on the seat. I need to clean it and put that back on. So a couple little engine things, a couple little decal things, a couple little, nuance things, and the Rugg is done. I did finish the steering wheel. The steering wheel, I just wet sanded and buffed it. So the original steering wheel's all set and ready to go. Man, I am really getting excited about this. I love this little tractor. All my little paintings look real good. The front came out fine. I'm real happy with that. The deck is basically over restored. I shouldn't have done it quite as nice as I did, but you can see the reflection of the motor in it. It's pretty darn straight. The VinsRJ on the back is perfect because you can read it right through the little hole. So that worked out great. Overall, I'm really happy. Hopefully, when we take this thing out on its maiden voyage, it will just run and drive as good as it looks. All right, guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. We're getting really close to the finish of the little Rugg carpet cut. The Zagray Tractor Show is coming up in a couple weekends. It is my plan to have this at the Zagray Tractor Show. I might even go to the Kent show out in New Milford, Connecticut, or Kent, Connecticut, right on the New Milford line. I might go there. I don't know quite yet. That's the last weekend in September, I believe. And then the first weekend in October is the Zagray Tractor Show. So I'm hoping I can get to a couple of the last tractor shows of the season with it. And then obviously next year, 2023, it'll be out and about. All right. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for all your wonderful comments. Please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, until the next project, you have a great day.